you are into gaming news or want to discuss gaming, you've come to the right place. Who am I, you ask? I am the Wiz! How are you all doing this week? We are at Key3 week right now, so all the big streaming presentations are going on right now, or just went on. There's a few more going on, I would say, the next 24 hours. But I figured we'd go through the big ones that happened in the past few days, and that's the Xbox Game Showcase, the PC Gaming Show, and Ubisoft Forward. But first, I want to point out, if you are on YouTube right now, you are looking at gameplay footage of the Starfield Chronicle. And the reason why I'm showcasing that game is because that is for my Thinning the Backlog series that is going on right now. What is Thinning the Backlog? Basically, what I'm doing is I'm taking a bunch of games that I have either want to play or purchased in the past and want to go through them to thin out that backlog that I have. And I'm going to concentrate mostly on games that have been out 6 months or more, but are still playable on current consoles and on PC. So that is the series I'm going to do right now, and we'll get more into it when I do the Thinning the Backlog later. But this is just background gameplay to enjoy yourself while you're watching this on YouTube. So, with the news that happened this week is, of course, everything that was announced at all these streams, and there were some big streams that happened this week. The first one being the Xbox Game Showcase. Now, I'm going to go through a lot of what happened, but I'm going to highlight some things. And how I'm going to do this is I'm going to tell you what I thought was good, something I couldn't tell was good, something I don't care about, and the stuff that was bad. So bear in mind that's what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to highlight a few games as I go along, but let me list a few things that I thought that were good about the Game Showcase, and when it comes to the game specifically. So here is what is good that was out at the Xbox Game Showcase and Starfield Direct. The first ones are Avowed. That looked pretty good. It looks like a something along the lines of an Elder Scrolls game. It looks good. Forza Motorsport looked pretty good. So did Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. Hopefully they fix that up when that comes out. City Skylines look decent. Jusant looks pretty interesting. Atlas showed off a RPG called Metaphor ReFantasia, which is a terrible name, but looks good. And the Persona games that were leaked beforehand by Atlas were shown off here on the Xbox Showcase, which is Persona 3 Reload and Persona 5 Tactica. They look really good. I personally can't wait for Persona 5 Tactica. But of course, the big game that I have to point out here is Starfield. Not only do they have a trailer showing off the new release date, which is September 6th, they also had the Starfield Direct, which gave about 40 minutes of gameplay and insight on the game. And I gotta be honest with you, I went from thinking, I'll check it out, I guess, to, yeah, I gotta play this game. But I also had in the back of my head while watching this that knowing Bethesda's track record, this game is going to be broken as shit when it comes out. I am going to look forward to playing it. I can't wait to see what it's like after it's released. I just know for a fact that this game is going to have so many bugs and issues in like the first 3 to 6 months. So I am definitely going to play this game, but I'm going to wait about a year to check it out. So I am looking forward to seeing how that turns out when it's released on September 6th. Here's some of the things I couldn't tell, and the reason why I couldn't tell is because either there wasn't enough gameplay or it's just cinematics. Let's just go through some of them. South of Midnight was shown off. Star Wars Outlaws was also shown off, but that's going to be on the Ubisoft Forward that I can talk about a little bit. Senwa's Saga Hellblade 2 was shown off, but that's cinematics again. They look great, but, you know. Nitsugami Path of the Goddess had a cinematic trailer that looked interesting, but we don't really know what that is. Payday 3, it looks like Payday, but what other things they haven't to make it unique, we don't know. Still Wakes the Deep looks interesting as well, but we don't know what it's about. Dungeons of Hinterberg look kind of cute, but I want to know more about that as well. Same thing for Towerborn. That looked like a Guardian Heroes-esque game, but again, I want to know more information on that. But I think the one thing that I can't tell whether I like or dislike is Fable. That was the first game that was shown off on the Direct. It has the humor down, I think, but I don't know about the gameplay. They didn't talk about anything with gameplay. They didn't have a date. They didn't show anything off gameplay-wise for this. So, with that being said, I think they got the tone down right. but I don't know about the gameplay or anything from the Fable that people seem to like. So I just can't tell whether I'm interested in that or not at this point. Something that I don't care about, either I don't play these type of games, or I was just so indifferent towards them, I was like, whatever. Sea of Thieves, The Legend of Monkey Island, I was like, okay, sure. A new Microsoft Flight Simulator, 2024 is coming out. Fallout 76 Atlantic City, okay. I have tried Elder Scrolls Online a bunch of times, so when they showed off Necrom, I was like, I've already played it, I know I'm not interested. They had a trailer for Overwatch 2, citing new maps and missions, and a new hero pack for when you have the Xbox Game Pass. That's coming August 10th, which I'm like, okay, whatever. Clockwork Revolution. That game looks so much like BioShock Infinite that they're going to have to show something to make it look like it's not just a carbon copy of that. Hopefully they'll show off more of that as time comes, but I wasn't really entirely impressed by that. Honestly, when I saw the trailer, I was like, wow, they're remaking BioShock Infinite. And when it wasn't the case, I was like, huh. It looks a lot like BioShock Infinite. Okay then. Now for the bad. 33 Immortals. It looked interesting. It had a nice look to it. But the fact that it's a 33-player co-op game is something I'm going to look at and go, I can see myself getting lost in this. So I went from being, looks good, to, yeah, no, I'm not. And then the other bad thing that I would point out is the Xbox Series S with 1 terabyte storage. There's something that for $350 it's coming out on September 1st. I think it's kind of weird they're making another Xbox Series S. That is considered the casual console for Xbox, so I'm curious as to why they felt they need to make a new one with more hard drive space, because I would assume that the people who got the S are only doing that for certain things, maybe like 1 or 2 games and some apps, and that's it. I don't entirely understand the market for this. I might be wrong, but I don't think that makes sense, especially how Phil Spencer was positioning it. You've asked for more storage, here we go. I'm like, oh great, so they're gonna have more storage options for like the back of the console? And it's like, oh no, we're giving you another Xbox Series S. I'm like, what? Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what people were asking for. Sure, Phil. Overall, when it comes to the quality of the showcase, I think Xbox's was best. There were some things I still questioned, and I was like, it's not that great, but I think it's the best out of the 4 that I've watched. But the real question is, does this position Xbox in a way where it can gain some of that foothold back? And I'm going to say no. They really need more games to come out this year to gain that foothold back, but a lot of the big games that they were showing off, Avowed, Persona 3 Reload, Fable, these are all coming next year, and there isn't a firm date on most of them. Fable, South of Midnight, Star Wars Outlaws, there's a release date of 2024 for that. A lot of these seem to be coming 2024. The big ones that are coming 2023, which is Forza Motorsport and Starfield, had good showings, so that did look good. But it's not enough for people to be like, I need to get an Xbox. Because, I hate to say it, I mean, that's the big problem, I think, with Xbox right now, and they need to bring that foothold back. And I don't think they did that with this, but it's still a good showing, I would think. Next one is the PC Gaming Cringe Show. At least they are leaning into the fact that they're cringe. I mean, it was back then when they were trying to be funny, and it just did not work. But, you know. Anyway, let's get into the good of what they showed off in the PC Gaming Show. They had a ton of announcements at the PC Gaming Show, but it also was a 2-hour stream. Good lord. So let me get through quickly with some of the ones I liked. Here's the good. Kill It With Fire 2, I Am Future, Black Skylands, Punch Club 2, Teardown's Creative Mode was announced, Nivalis, Warhaven, Hidden Door as a concept. Let me go through this real quick. They are making an app where it's a lot like, how I would put this, it's like tabletop role playing, only you create a story through this app by the decisions that you make. And I think that's an interesting concept. But I get the feeling this thing is not going to release, and somebody like, I don't know, Wizards of the Coast would probably purchase this tech and want to use it in an app of their own. If I were Wizards of the Coast or anyone who or the people who have Pathfinder, I would be calling these people up and seeing if they can do business, because this seems like an amazing opportunity for them. Dread Pilots by Clay was actually really good. Miasma Chronicles looked really good. Fabledom. I didn't even hear about this game. This looks pretty cool. That's coming in. It's in early access now. I don't know what's coming out. 30XX was shown off as well. I was a fan of 20XX, so I'm excited for that as well. Shadow Gambit, The Cursed Crew looked pretty good. Fortune Run looked alright. I thought that looked pretty good. Vampire Survivors is a 1.5 update. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 looks great, of course. Ember Knights had looked good for its 1.0. Nova Roma, Last Train Home looked interesting. And Bloomtown also looked pretty good on there. I think the big one that I would point out here is Black Skylands. That looked like a very interesting indie game that had top-down shooting and some role-playing elements. So I would really look forward to seeing how that looked as well. It also had a really unique look to it. And then Dread Pilots looked a lot of fun as well. So to Can't Tell or I Just Don't Know, Fan didn't really show anything. Slime 3K didn't show anything. Frostpunk 2, which is coming in 2024, that had a cinematic trailer. Jump Light Odyssey looked interesting. That has a demo June 19th, but they didn't really show much gameplay. Here's a weird one. Ebenezer and the Invisible World. They are making a Metroidvania out of the story from A Christmas Carol. Game looks good, but I'm really curious as to what exactly they are going to do with this concept. So I'm going to look forward to seeing more of that. Orf looked interesting, but I didn't see much to glean of that, other than it kind of looked like a Command & Conquer game. Sail Blazers. Okay, I like the concept of an ARPG with running a shop. It just didn't look great. So I'm really curious as to how that turns out. That comes out September 23rd. Eternights has a demo on June 19th. I want to know a lot more about that game. It does look interesting, but I don't know much more about the gameplay. Pax Day. I don't even know what this is. I think it's a survival game. I'm not entirely sure. Or it's an RPG. I don't know. But it looked good, but all I'll say is that if that is what the game really looks like, you're going to need a beefy-ass PC to get that. Path of Exile 2 showed off. They showed more gameplay like they did with Summer Games Fest. I know the gameplay is good. It looks good. I want to know the systems. I want to know what they're doing differently with the customization. Ferocious, I'm not really sure what that is. I think it's a survival first-person shooter. I'm not entirely sure. Naval Books Dungeon Master is coming summer of 23. It looks good. It looks like a Dungeon Keeper type game, but again, I want to know more information. Mariachi Legends is in development. They showed a teaser trailer on that. Looks interesting, but you know, I want to know more about that. Warhammer Age of Sigma Realms of Ruin looks interesting. It looks like a decent strategy game, but I want to know more about the systems in that. Citizen Sleeper 2, I didn't play 1. I've heard good things about it, but you know, I don't know much about it. Critter Cove had a really cutesy trailer, but I'm not sure what exactly that game is. Undead Inc. looks like it could be an interesting concept, but it was just a cinematic trailer. I don't even remember what Altered Alma is. See, here's the big problem with the PC gaming show. It was too long and there was too many small announcements. I don't even remember Altered Alma, but I do remember Diesel Legacy: The Brazen Age. I am not sure because I'm not sure about a 2v2 fighting game that is 2D. Anytime that someone's tried to do that, it's come out a mess, so I'm going to reserve judgment. Parcel Core was shown off for a few minutes with kind of a funny trailer of sorts. They showed a little bit of it. It looks neat, but I want to know more about that. Invisible was given a small trailer. I still have no idea what that is. Park Beyond was shown. It's coming out June 13th. It looks like a game that I just did not like called Zoo Tycoon. So if it's like that, I'm kind of not interested, but we'll see how reviews turn out. Stormgate, I like RTS games, but I gotta be honest, you need to shake the formula up a little bit, and I don't think it shakes it up very well. But again, they might be doing something different that they just can't show off, so we'll see about that. Atomic Picnic, Jarrell's brother, and the most important game of the galaxy, and Mullet Mudjack had very small trailers, showed absolutely nothing. So did Gaucho in the Grassland, that didn't show much. Revival Recolonization showed 30 seconds of gameplay, okay. Nova Lands didn't show much, and so did an Earthless, which is coming out in 2024, also did not show very much. As for the games I just didn't care about, Road to Vostok, I just don't like those type of games. Mars Horizon 2, The Search for Life, kind of reminded me of Kerbal Space Program. I don't like those games. Islands of Insight, I'm not smart enough for that type of game. Vector Rhythm Galaxy, I put in don't care because the only thing that really matters is if the music is it's to my liking and if it's good. If I don't like the music, the puzzle stuff could be great, but I'm just not interested in it still, so we'll see. Pathfinder Gallowspire Survivors, coming in 2023. Do we need more knockoffs of Vampire Survivors? I don't think we do. Chimera, again, not interested. Exo Rally Championship, I would be interested in racing games like this, but apparently it's heavily physics-based, so that kind of turned me off. I didn't like Hell Let Loose very much. Terratech Worlds, alright. Macabre, I'm not into survival horror or horror games. My Friendly Neighborhood, again, not into horror games. F1 Manager 2023, not a fan of F1, to be fair. Breath Edge 2 didn't really excite me, and Dune Awakening, once I found out it was a survival MMO, I was like, nah, I'm out. And for the few things that were bad, Sulfur, the animation and the way it looks really cheap, and the combat didn't look very great either, so I looked at one, that didn't look very well. Stampede Racing Royale, the same thing, the problem I had with 33 Immortals. It has 60 racers at once. That seems like a fucking mess. I'm not interested in that in the slightest. And Lords of the Fallen. Man, does that look generic as hell. So I don't know what to do with that. I'm a little disappointed there wasn't more dancing, but what can you do? Overall, PC Gaming Show wasn't bad. It was as cringy as usual, but man, that show did not need to be 2 hours, and they didn't have to announce everything on there. Like, there were the ones that took like 30 seconds, get them out of there. Like, don't even bother. It was fine, but it was kind of painful to sit through too. And then Monday, at the Ubisoft Forward event, and let me say something, Ubisoft Forward did something really special. They did something more cringe than the PC Gaming Show. And I never thought I would see it, but they did it. And they did it twice in this. But before that, we'll get into the good. X-Defiant looks pretty good. I can't wait to see how that turns out. It's coming at the end. It seems like it's coming at the end of the summer, but there's going to be an open beta on the 21st or 23rd of this month. I don't care how many people hate this game. I am looking forward to Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. The only issue I have is the price. I'm wondering what the price is going to be, because if it's $60, there ain't no damn way I'm paying $60 for that. And the other one that looked good was Assassin's Creed Mirage, coming in the 12th of October. It looks like Assassin's Creed. It looks like classic Assassin's Creed, but I think they scope creeped it up a bit, which is why it's $60, which is not what I was asking for, but we'll see how that turns out. Can't tell, or I don't know. The Crew Motorfest, which is coming September 14th, they didn't show much gameplay in this, but if it's anything like the past Crew, I played the Crew 1 and didn't like it very much. I didn't check out Crew 2 yet, but it seems to have its fan base, but we'll see. I'm just not sure how I feel about that. They'll show more as time goes on. Star Wars Outlaws showed some gameplay. It's coming out in 2024. Man, can Ubisoft do anything besides The Division and Far Cry? This is like a Division game, essentially. So, hopefully the cinematic stuff will give it more of a different spice, but we'll see about that when it happens. Okay, going to Don't Care and Indifferent. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. I gotta say, when I saw this first, I was like, that looks pretty good. And then when they started showing gameplay, and I'm like, oh, it's fucking Far Cry. I was like, oh, God. At that point, I was like, yeah, nah, I don't care now. Ubisoft needs to find other gameplay types, because it's getting a little stale to have Far Cry and The Division and whatever as all their games. It's getting a little ridiculous. But more with don't care. Tom Clancy's Division Resurgence. It's mobile, so I'm not playing it. I don't care. Just Dance 2024. You can guess. I don't care. Assassin's Creed Nexus VR. If you have a VR and you have MetaQuest 2, it looks interesting, I guess, but I don't like VR, so I don't care. And then Assassin's Creed Codename Jade. Same thing with the Division Resurgence. It's mobile. I don't care. And the bad, and this is where all the cringe came from. First one. Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix on Netflix later this year. The trailer didn't look great, and the person they brought in to announce it was in a very big tactical vest that was like 3 times his size and cheesy glasses. I looked at this and go, oh my god, what are they doing? It's so bad. And then Skull and Bones had announced a closed beta for August 25th to 28th and decided to do a remixed sea shanty? Like, what? I was watching this going, what is this? Like, to me, that was more cringe than anything the PC gaming show did. So, yeah. And then Skull and Bones doesn't look that great. So, no surprise there. Overall, I liked what Ubisoft showed for the most part, but it is becoming more and more clear they need to diversify the type of games they have. Great, I guess I would give it like a B-, I guess. But it was good, not great. Anyway, overall, the showings have not been bad, but it just seems like it's going to be kind of a light end of the year. I think the big heavy hitters happened in the beginning, and the end is going to be fairly quiet. But we'll see if more announcements happen throughout the year. But overall, this was a decent showing at the Key3. So there's more to come when it comes to streams. I think the Yakuza or Like a Dragon developers are going to have one. So we'll hopefully hear more about Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. So hopefully more of that will pop up. Okay, so before we go, we're going to go through the new releases that are happening this week. And there are new releases happening this week. It shocks me. I don't know why they did that. Let's check out some of the new releases that are happening this week. Let's first go with ports. And Crime Boss Rockhaze City is getting a port from PS5 to Xbox Series X on June 15th. Why? That game has been trounced by so many people. People do not like this game. Why are they doing it? But I guess they have to make the money back somehow. If you want to give them money, June 15th is when it comes out. There are no re-releases and remasters. So let's get into the new releases. Okay, let me spell this. Dordogny is coming to all systems, coming June 13th. I saw a trailer of it. It looked like a decent puzzle exploration game with a unique art style. So that looks kind of interesting. It's $15, I think, so that's not a bad price. So if you like the look of it and you want like that type of game, check it out. Jack Gene for Switch coming June 15th. I think it's a visual novel, but I don't know. I'm not sure what this game is. It apparently is set within a theater troupe, and I guess they have to find out who the best actor is, so I'm guessing it's a visual novel, but it's only coming to Switch on June 15th. Layers of Fear coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X June 15th as well. These are remakes of the first 2 Layers of Fear games, so these are fairly recent, aren't they? I don't understand why they're doing that, but okay. That's coming June 15th. F123 is coming to all systems except Switch June 16th. Okay, I mean, if you're into that, you already know, and you're probably buying it. Not my cup of tea, but if you like it, enjoy. I've heard they're pretty good. And then finally, Park Beyond, PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC, June 16th. I mentioned it on the PC Gaming Showcase that it kind of reminds me of Zoo Tycoon, and I didn't like Zoo Tycoon very much. Reviews should show what it is like, so we will see how that turns out. And that is it for the new releases, and that is it for this inaugural gaming episode of The Wiz Says. Guys, what do you think of the new format? What do you think of how things are changing up? Let me know in the comments and on social media at IamThatWiz on Twitter. We are having film reviews this week for Elizabethtown on Tuesday with me and Zero, and on Saturday, Spirited Away with me and Kim Shackman. Check those out when they happen. I will be doing a thinning of my backlog with the Diofield Chronicle. I will explain that when the episode comes out, so look forward to that when that happens. Well, until then, I am the Wiz. Talk to you next time. Bye.